glorified slave, man. Like, why would you want to be a glorified slave? Culture will always be upstream from politics. Whoever can control culture can control politics. Like you getting political, you talking about 2024, you being open to different ideas, different conversations, you wearing a MAGA hat. It broke me in that.
Girl, brace yourself, and because this Charlie Kirk case just got way darker than anyone expected. What started as a shocking tragedy is now unfolding like a straight-up political thriller. Candace Owens might be tangled up in something massive, and insiders are saying the danger around her is real, not just rumors. Word is Kanye West himself allegedly pulled Candace aside and told her to disappear for a while. Yes, full-on lay low, vanish, go ghost. Because according to those in the know, she might actually be next on somebody's list. That's how deep this mess goes. But wait, it gets crazier. Reports now claim Charlie Kirk knew something was about to happen before that Utah talk show. Someone close to him supposedly warned him that the vibe felt off, that he should back out, but he still went anyway. Can you imagine? He walked right into what might have been a setup. Now, the whole internet's panicking and asking one haunting question. Did someone inside Turning Point America sell him out? And if that's true, who's targeting Candace next? This doesn't sound like your usual political drama. It's giving conspiracy with serious muscle behind it. Something cold-blooded and organized, like a story straight out of a spy movie. Social media's gone detective mode again.
I have them all to information share with Max Blumenthal, with people, people all over the place, to send a package and say, if anything happens to me and it looks suspicious, release it all.
People are rewatching live streams, pausing clips, matching timestamps, like a whole army of digital investigators. Everyone's convinced there's more going on than what the FBI's saying. Forums, Reddit threads, and Telegram groups are packed with theories. Folks are claiming the official version of events just doesn't make sense, and the way the feds handled this case looks more like damage control than justice. And you already know Candace Owens. She's not the type to stay quiet while something shady unfolds. She's been out here running her own private investigation, digging deep, asking questions nobody else dares to ask. And it's not just because she cared about Charlie or because she sits on the Turning Point board. No, it's because she flat out said nobody deserves to be executed on live TV for having an opinion. That line hit hard, and now her supporters are fired up. The deeper this story goes, the darker it gets. Every time Candace drops new info, people start questioning everything they thought they knew. She's been tearing through the FBI's version of the shooting like it's Swiss cheese, exposing inconsistency after inconsistency. Her latest claim, the guy they said did it, Tyler Robinson, might not be guilty at all. Remember, the FBI paraded Tyler around the media like they had their man, bragging about how the public helped catch him. But Candace says, hold up. She's claiming Tyler couldn't even physically pull off that crime. According to her, he never once stepped foot on Utah Valley University's campus, and on top of that, the man's partially paralyzed in his right leg.
I just got a tip that busts the CK case wide open. Tyler Robinson has partial paralysis in his right leg. And that's how people identified him, not from the photographs.
And his family, who has since been interrogated, specifically stated to FBI interrogators that because of the video that the FBI released at my direction, and because of the photographs that they released, they identified their son.
Then there's that viral video everyone's seen, the clip where the supposed shooter takes off sprinting seconds after the gunshot rings out. Candace went through it frame by frame, analyzing every movement like a forensic expert. Her take, whoever that person was, they moved way too fast to be dealing with any kind of leg paralysis. She said it straight. It just doesn't add up. That's when the internet took the baton and ran wild. Within hours, users were pulling up old footage of Tyler limping, including a body cam clip after a car accident where he could barely walk straight. That's when social media erupted. People started saying out loud what others were too scared to. Did the feds frame this man on purpose? Was this a rush to find a scapegoat? Or a strategic distraction from whoever the real shooter was? Things are looking real suspicious now, and the public isn't buying the official story anymore. Then came the moment that made everyone's jaws drop. Candace's announcement about skipping Charlie Kirk's memorial. Nobody, and I mean nobody, saw that coming.
This means that his unusual gait, his limp, was not because there was a rifle down his pants, and those of us with eyeballs already knew this. But this confirms it. This also explains why we never saw a perp walk, why they used all these still photos, and why they only showed him limping one time when he's on the way. So that they could run the narrative that the weapon was down his skinny jeans and nobody could see it. the invisible rifle, right?
Instead of showing up to honor her close friend, she revealed she'd be spending that same day with Kanye West. And according to her, that wasn't random. That was self-preservation. She claimed that the very same people running Charlie's memorial were tied to the FBI. The same ones she accuses of twisting the truth and covering for the real shooter. In her words, they're trying to bury the truth by framing Tyler Robinson and hiding whoever truly pulled the trigger. Fans were stunned. Everyone knew how tight Candace and Charlie were. She was expected to be front and center, maybe even speaking at the service. But Candace wasn't having it. She made it crystal clear, standing beside people she believes helped hide the truth would make her part of the problem. And she's not about to play that game. She said it plain as day. Attending would mean joining the cover-up, and she's not that kind of woman. The fact that she's choosing to sit it out, especially under Kanye's advice, just shows how serious she believes the danger is right now. And if all of this turns out to be true, if Candace is right about even half of what she's suggesting, then this case isn't just a political scandal anymore. Like, it's something way more sinister. Something that could shake the foundations of the whole conservative movement. This is getting darker by the hour, and from the way Candace is moving, she's not backing down anytime soon. Things are about to explode, and remember when Candace first hinted that someone inside Turning Point America might have set Charlie up?
I said there is no way we are going to this event now. There's a 0% chance. First and foremost, why are you saying anybody can go to it? You just buy a ticket to the event, and you're all working to try to get me to confirm that I'm going. And you're doing this as if you're trying to push my buttons and be like, we got to make her get into her ego so she shows up and posts it on social media. Nope, actually, while I'm attacking the feds, maybe not going to a public event, which the feds are organizing, is probably a very good idea. I'm good. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna listen to Power on my headphones and go see Ye. How's that for a memorial for Charlie Kirk? That feels like the right thing for me to do right now.
Well, she didn't just talk, she came swinging with receipts. Out of nowhere, Candace dropped what looked like a bombshell, a screenshot of text messages between Charlie and one of his own staff members. In those leaked texts, Charlie allegedly confessed that he was struggling with his pro-Israel stance and even thinking about cutting ties with the organization completely. That one leak flipped the whole internet upside down. Suddenly, this wasn't just about a shocking tragedy, it was about betrayal, political backstabbing, hidden agendas. People online said it felt less like a murder investigation and more like the script of a scandalous spy flick. Something about those texts didn't just raise eyebrows, it reeked of secrets that someone was desperate to keep buried. Once those messages hit the timeline, everything went wild. Within hours, social media turned into chaos, theories flying everywhere, insider accounts dropping supposed leaks, people analyzing every single line of those texts like detectives. It wasn't just gossip anymore, it was war between factions inside the conservative movement. And the story people were piecing together, way darker than anyone dared to imagine. Now let's break it down. Because what followed next made this entire thing feel like a political chess match that spiraled completely out of control. Those weren't just some random texts between coworkers. They were emotional, heavy, and dangerous. In one message, Charlie allegedly wrote, "I'm done defending certain people. I'm tired of pretending like the corruption isn't real." That one sentence sent shockwaves through the entire online community. Because seriously, who were these certain people? Who was he defending?
But I want to take the start of this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there.
And what corruption was he talking about? Fans started playing digital connect the dots, linking names, screenshots, and old interviews. Before long, a pattern started forming, and it was messy. Some believe Charlie was calling out Turning Point's biggest donors, powerful figures with global reach and international political ties. These weren't small fish. These were people allegedly funneling money from overseas, connected to massive corporate and lobbying interests. According to what's being whispered online, Charlie might have stumbled upon something dirty in the books, money trails that led way outside US borders. And once he found out, that could have made him a serious threat to the people funding the machine. Then came the biggest bomb, rumors that Charlie was planning to resign and go independent. Candace herself hinted at it in one of her fiery live streams, saying, Charlie was getting ready to speak his truth, and some people weren't ready for what he was about to say. That line alone blew up the internet. Fans and critics alike rushed to rewatch his final public appearances. And once they did, the signs were impossible to ignore. In one clip filmed just a week before the tragedy, Charlie looked visibly frustrated during a college Q&A session. When a student asked about Turning Point's sponsors and whether there were conflicts of interest, he paused, sighed, and said, "Sometimes loyalty gets expensive." Whew, that sentence aged like dynamite. It barely got attention before, but now it's viral all over X and TikTok. Everyone's wondering, was that Charlie's subtle way of warning us that something inside Turning Point wasn't right? And it didn't stop there. Several alleged insiders, people who claim to have worked side by side with him, came forward anonymously. They painted a chilling picture of a man who was restless, paranoid, and starting to question everyone around him. One anonymous source told a blog that Charlie had been pulled aside and told to tone it down during a private call with someone described as a government liaison. That's when things went from bad to terrifying. Because if that's true, Charlie wasn't just butting heads with coworkers. He was crossing into territory that might have had federal fingerprints all over it. And you know Candace wasn't gonna let that slide. She took that info and ran with it like fire through gasoline. During one of her explosive Twitter spaces, she dropped another cryptic claim that she had proof someone in uniform contacted Charlie just 2 days before the Utah event. Her exact words, "When I reveal who made that call, it's going to shake people." The tone in her voice said it all. She wasn't bluffing. She was warning. You could feel the tension through the speakers. It wasn't just drama anymore. It felt like Candace was holding something that could break this entire case open. And if what she's hinting at turns out to be true, then we're not just looking at internal betrayal. We're looking at something far more explosive. A scandal with power players, politics, and maybe even federal strings pulling from the shadows. This story's not cooling down, it's about to blow sky high. Right after Candace dropped those explosive leaked messages, the internet started catching something way off. A wave of Turning Point executives suddenly locking down or straight up deleting their social media accounts. No posts, no comments, no explanations, just silence. And that silence screamed louder than any statement could. Because come on, if everything was legit, why would so many insiders vanish the second new evidence hit the web? It didn't look like coincidence, it looked like panic. People were quick to call it out. Whole threads popped up online tracking which accounts went dark and when. Folks noticed that some of those who disappeared were names that had shown up in Charlie's old travel schedules and email CC lists. That's when the internet decided something inside Turning Point America was being scrubbed clean and they were watching it happen in real time. But then came the leak that sent shockwaves through every corner of social media. An alleged internal email thread supposedly written by Turning Point staff just hours after Charlie's death. The subject line? Post-event coordination and donor management. Yeah, let that sink in. The messages reportedly talked about damage control, managing public perception, and redirecting the narrative to unity and faith. That doesn't sound like grief, that sounds like a corporate spin team moving in fast. People online went ballistic. Comment sections lit up with outrage, accusing the organization of caring more about optics than honesty. One viral post read, "You don't manage perception when a man just lost his life. You tell the truth." And honestly, that summed up how most people felt. Candace, of course, didn't miss a beat. Within hours, she fired off one of her sharpest tweets yet, saying, "If you need a PR plan the same day your founder dies, you're not mourning, you're covering." Boom! That one line hit harder than a headline, and it blew up. Over 12 million views in less than a day. But just when people thought she'd said it all, her post suddenly got flagged for misinformation. Her account was temporarily restricted, and that's when the whole internet lost it. To her followers, that wasn't just censorship. It was proof that someone up top was trying to silence her. Even after her account got reinstated, the damage was done. Hashtags like hashtag let Candace speak and hashtag Turning Point cover up started trending overnight. Then, as if this story wasn't wild enough, another bomb dropped. A grainy piece of security footage leaked from outside the Utah venue where the shooting happened. In that clip, a mysterious black SUV can be seen pulling into the restricted staff parking area just minutes before the shots rang out. The internet froze the footage, enhanced it, analyzed it, and the weirdest part? Candace's team claims that SUV didn't belong to any Turning Point employee. Even crazier, the license plate was blurred out in the official police release, and no one has ever confirmed who it belonged to. When reporters pressed for answers, the FBI reportedly brushed it off, calling it unrelated. But please, who's buying that? The second those words dropped, the internet went full wildfire, calling it a blatant cover-up. Now people are demanding to know who was in that car. Why was it there? And why was the footage hidden until now? Because if that SUV was unrelated, Why did it show up in a restricted zone right before everything went down? The whole situation feels off, like there's way more under the surface than anyone's admitting. And the more they try to silence questions, the louder the world gets. This story's not cooling off, it's catching fire all over again. Not long after the email and SUV drama, Candace popped up again, this time sitting right beside Kanye West on a live stream that nearly broke the internet. She looked calm but fierce, and then she dropped a line that sent chills through every viewer. They want people to believe this was random, but the timing tells you everything. Charlie was silenced right before he could expose something big boom. The whole chat went wild. She didn't give many details, but what she did say made it crystal clear she's not done and she's not backing down. Candace told everyone she's working on a final report with help from private investigators and even former intelligence insiders. That's when people realize she's not just talking, she's risking her life to dig for the truth. Sources close to her claim she's now rolling with private security everywhere she goes and that she's been warned not to stay in one location for too long. One insider even claimed she's using encrypted devices to communicate and completely ditched public Jeep's tracking apps. Whether that's exaggeration or the real deal, it only made her story feel even more dangerous and mysterious. But the plot thickened fast. Out of nowhere, an anonymous whistleblower reportedly sent classified-looking documents to multiple independent journalists. These files allegedly revealed that a second firearm was recovered near the scene, a piece of evidence never mentioned in the official police report. If that's true, it blows the entire lone shooter narrative wide open. According to the leak, the weapon didn't match the gun tied to Tyler Robinson, meaning someone else was armed and close to the action that day. If that part checks out, everything the FBI's been saying could fall apart like a house of cards, and just like that, the public split in two. One half calling Candace delusional and chasing conspiracies, the other calling her the only one brave enough to speak up while everyone else plays dumb. Meanwhile, mainstream outlets started acting real suspicious, quietly editing articles, removing early reports, and avoiding her name altogether. It's like the official version of events is being rewritten in real time. Then came another shocker. Candace hinted that Kanye himself had offered her a backup plan. She said she might use his own platform to drop her full report uncensored if mainstream outlets try to silence her. She even called it Plan B, promising an unfiltered expose that could name names, show receipts, and reveal the truth they don't want you to see. Fans are already saying it'll be one of the most explosive online events in years if she goes through with it. At this point, everyone from political analysts to random TikTokers agrees on one thing. Something feels off. Too many sudden silences, too many disappearing accounts, too many people pretending nothing's wrong. As Candace said herself, you can't bury the truth forever, like it always finds a way out. And right now, it feels like the truth isn't creeping out, it's breaking the door down. But hold up, because that wasn't even the biggest twist. Remember those leaked texts Candace dropped earlier? Well, new info tied them directly to Josh Hammer, one of Turning Point's own staff members. According to what's come out, Charlie Kirk was seriously thinking about teaming up with Candace again and cutting ties with the higher-ups who were pressuring him to toe the pro-Israel line. The messages show Charlie struggling, trying to decide if he should step away and start fresh with Candace to expose what he'd discovered. The wild part, the person trying to talk him out of it was Josh Hammer. He allegedly warned Charlie that if he dared to walk away or worse, join forces with Candace again, the big donors would pull the plug on Turning Point entirely. The pressure must have been insane. When that revelation hit the internet, it exploded like fireworks. And get this, Josh Hammer later confirmed in a private group chat that the screenshot was real. He admitted he was the one texting Charlie that night. Once that came out, everything changed. Candace wasn't spinning stories, her receipts checked out. That confirmation proved Charlie really was pulling away and that he was fed up with being told what to say, especially on the Israel issue. He didn't want to keep defending people he didn't trust, and apparently that made certain folks nervous. But then, brace yourself. Things took a turn that had everyone online losing their minds. Digging into Josh Hammer's past, fans uncovered something downright chilling. Just one day before Charlie was shot, Josh had responded to an old Donald Trump tweet from 12 years ago that said, "There should be public executions for all to see. You'll end this nonsense fast," and Josh's reply? Just 2 words, public execution. The timing was too crazy to ignore. Less than 24 hours before the Utah event, and he's posting that, the internet lost it. Theories spread like wildfire. People saying it couldn't be coincidence, others calling it a coded warning. Comments flooded in, stuff like, "He basically told us what was about to happen," and That's way too close for comfort. When you line it all up, the leaked texts, the internal emails, the vanishing, the censored posts, the second gun, and now Josh Hammer's eerie tweet, it paints a chilling picture. Was this just a perfect storm of coincidences, or is there something much darker lurking underneath? Because if Candace is right, and Charlie really was about to expose corruption inside Turning Point America, then maybe the truth wasn't just dangerous, maybe it was deadly. Within hours of those screenshots surfacing, Josh Hammer practically vanished into thin air. His X account went private, his YouTube interviews disappeared, and his Turning Point America bio quietly got deleted like it never existed. No statement, no clarification, just digital smoke. That kind of silence doesn't calm people down. Well, it does the opposite. It screamed that something huge was being hidden. Online sleuths started tracking him like a missing person, saying he'd gone off the grid, turned off all his devices, and completely ghosted every media outlet since Candace's leaks dropped. Now fans are genuinely terrified for Candace Owens, because if Josh really was the mole inside Turning Point, the one allegedly feeding information or even helping set Charlie up, then Candace could be next in the crosshairs. The energy around her right now feels electric and dangerous. Her followers are practically begging her to stay safe, while conspiracy threads are exploding with people claiming Josh's role might have been way bigger than anyone realized. Meanwhile, Candace keeps firing shots and dropping more receipts. She's been teasing something she calls the final drop, claiming she's sitting on emails, voice notes, and direct proof linking insiders to Charlie's downfall. Every time she hints at releasing it, social media goes crazy, like fans waiting for the finale of a true crime show. If her next reveal really connects Josh Hammer to something bigger, this whole scandal might blow wide open, and nobody will be able to put it back together again. At this point, it's not just about betrayal, it's about power, money, and the terrifying cost of stepping on the wrong toes. Now, here's where it gets haunting. Charlie Kirk wasn't just drifting away from his pro-Israel stance. He was planning a full-on breakaway from the machine. He was ready to pull back from the political pressure, the donor control, and all the talking points he no longer believed in. But while Charlie was still wrestling with that decision privately, Josh Hammer was out there publicly spinning a totally different story. He was telling everyone that Charlie was still loyal, still in line with the same agenda he was secretly questioning. Can you even imagine that? The man hadn't even made his final decision, and someone in his own circle was already rewriting his truth. That's betrayal on a whole other level. But the story gets even darker. Reports say Candace Owens got her hands on documents, actual files, suggesting Charlie was deeply uneasy about attending that Utah talk show. He'd allegedly been receiving a flood of threats, and he told close friends that something about the whole setup didn't feel right. Candace says he wanted to postpone the event, maybe push it back a week or two. But the mole inside Turning Point, who she strongly believes was Josh Hammer, kept pressuring him to go anyway. Some sources even claim Josh told him it would look weak if he backed out. That line alone hits hard, because if Charlie had just followed his instincts, maybe things would have gone differently. Instead, that push might have been what sealed his fate. It's heartbreaking to think about. And just when everyone thought it couldn't get any more intense, Kanye West jumped back into the mix. You already know how far back Kanye and Candace go, so when he speaks up, people pay attention. Multiple insiders have reported that Kanye told Candace straight up to go into hiding, or at least step up her security immediately. Why? Because he believes she's getting too close to something dangerous. According to those close to him, Kanye warned that Candace has more enemies than she realizes, and that whoever was behind Charlie's death won't hesitate to come for her if she keeps digging. He's reportedly been telling his inner circle, "This is bigger than politics, it's about control." And his most chilling quote, "When truth threatens power, power strikes back." That hit everyone like thunder. But here's the thing. Kanye's not the only one worried. Other public figures who know both him and Candace have quietly been reaching out too, urging her to slow down, to step away, to protect herself and her family. But if there's one thing everyone knows about Candace Owens, it's that she doesn't scare easily. She's not built to fold under pressure, and she's made it clear she's not backing down. She even revealed she's created what she calls a dead man switch. That's right. If anything ever happens to her, every file, email, screenshot, and name she's collected will automatically be sent out to trusted people and then made public. According to Candace, journalists, lawyers, and even contacts overseas already hold copies of her data. So if someone tries to silence her, it won't stop a thing. That's bold, and it's got everyone talking. Since that revelation, fans online have turned her comment sections into digital prayer circles. People are literally posting prayers and protection emojis nonstop. One person wrote, "Candace is brave, but she's walking in dangerous territory. We need to protect her at all costs." Another said, "They can't touch her. She's too prepared and too loud. The truth's already out there." And one fan even added, "She's got an entire media rollout ready to launch if anything happens. She's 10 steps ahead." The internet's divided between calling her fearless and calling her reckless, but nobody can deny her guts. Love her or hate her, Candace Owens is standing in the fire and daring the flames to touch her. Still, the tension is heavy. Each day that passes, she's exposing more names, more evidence, more threads that connect back to powerful people, and that makes her world smaller and more dangerous. It feels like every new revelation drags her one step deeper into something way bigger than anyone expected, like she's unraveling a storm that's been brewing behind closed doors for years. So now everyone's asking the same question. Is Candace Owens really in danger like Kanye says, or is this spiraling into something even bigger than both of them realize? Is she uncovering the truth behind a political setup or walking right into one herself? Whatever the truth is, one thing's for sure. The world's watching closer than ever. This isn't over, not by a long shot, so make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Candace is being targeted, or is this paranoia gone viral? And before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell because this story is heating up by the minute. And trust me, you do not want to miss what comes next. See you in the next one.